life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. At longevity. At exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
All right, good boy. Do a couple more. Drop it. All right, ready, Max? Go. All right. Come on, buddy. I also just finished my book. It's got a cyberpunk feel. Basically, my memoirs. What happened to me being attacked by the deep state, Obama's deep state. How I started out in computers when I was just a kid, 12 years old. Worked for the government. Was trained in remote viewing from Major Ed Dames. And helped shield senators from Obama's deep state, and that got me targeted, and they destroyed my business, my career, multi-million-dollar business and career, and I had to basically be homeless and go to soup kitchens thanks to Obama. So this book is my retribution. Talks about everything about the deep state, but I got to do it in code, so I put in a cyberpunk feel. And I did everything with hyperbole and metaphor, if you catch my drift. A lot of cue drops in there. And some future remote views I have. Easter eggs at the end of the book. If you buy it, it's $19. I have it published this week on Amazon. So I'll have a QR link in my future videos once it's completely published. But it's done. 20,000 pages, 17 chapters. It's a good read. Talks about how the deep state was targeted against Republicans, basically. All right, ready, Max? Go. Woo. Good boy. So here's some clips from South Front and Telegram on the war in Ukraine. That's killed over 2 million people so far. And every month, 20 to 30,000 people get whacked, and it's not going to end. They're talking peace treaty. That's not going to happen. Zelensky's, it's like they're playing poker. Zelensky has a bad hand. He has no troops left. He has no weapons left. He has no money left. And the Russians got all the money. They got all the troops. They got all the weapons. And they got all the hands. So Zelensky keeps trying for Putin to call the hand and call peace, and Putin's like, no, I got all the cards. I'm going to call you, call your bluff. And that's all Zelensky's doing, is lying and bluffing. He's been lying and bluffing his way throughout this whole war, and he's gotten over 2 million people killed because of his stubborn ignorance, basically. Ignorant of war, ignorant of the Russian bear, ignorant of his men's casualties. So the only way this war is going to end is if they take out Zelensky. And Putin's about this close to doing it. So once again, here's some clips from South Front and Telegram. Hope you enjoy. All right, ready, Max? Go. Ooh, it's a little windy. Good cutback, Max.
As part of the Istanbul agreements, Ukraine and Russia exchanged the bodies of fallen soldiers on November 20th. Russia handed over the bodies of 1,000 Ukrainian soldiers and received the bodies of 30 Russian soldiers from Ukraine. Meanwhile, fighting on the front lines of the Ukrainian conflict remained intense between the 19th and 21st of November. The battle for control of the city of Volchansk in the Kharkiv region is gradually coming to an end. Most of the city has already fallen under control of the Russian army. The Ukrainian command is doing everything in its power to hold its positions in the vicinity. Technical personnel from airfields, including combined Air Force brigades, have been transferred to the Volchansk section of the front. Near Liman, Russian units have occupied almost the entire forest area west of Yampil. On November 20th, assault groups captured the village of Maslyevkovka. South of Seversk, advanced Russian units have captured the northern part of Zavanovka. If they advance further north, Ukrainian logistics in this city will be under serious threat. After capturing Pokrovsk, the Russian command focused its efforts on the northwestern area. The Dacha cooperative on the outskirts of Grishno was seized. Russian units took up positions north of Rovnoe on the eastern outskirts of the city. The encirclement of Mianograd continues to tighten. The battle for Novopavlovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region is drawing to a close. A few days earlier, Russian troops occupied the entire right bank of the settlement. On November 20th, assault units crossed the Sayone River, which divides the village in two. Currently, fighting is ongoing for the northwestern part of the settlement. Further south, parts of the Russian Vostok group of forces have broken through the Ukrainian army's main line of defense near the village of Nievka. The situation around Gulia Polye is gradually deteriorating for the Ukrainian command. According to objective monitoring footage, Ukrainian units are retreating hastily from Zatyshaye. This village was supposed to be the last line of defense before the city itself. As of the 21st of November, Russian troops have completed control of the settlement. It could be used as a springboard for an assault on Gulia Polye in the coming week. The Ukrainian army is beginning to face an increasing number of operational crises on the front line. The defense of important cities such as Liman and Seversk may collapse in the near future. This is due to the critical depletion of reserves. On the northern front, Ukrainian commanders are already deploying battalions of airfield maintenance personnel to the front line.
Over the past 24 hours, the Russian army has continued its offensive on several sections of the front simultaneously. The most intense fighting is taking place near Kupiansk, Seversk, and Pokrovsk. Russian units are reporting tactical successes. On November 19th, it was reported that Russian units had begun to clear the Zapadnaya Turaya micro-district in Kupiansk. The Ukrainian command made several attempts to launch a counterattack from the northwest. These attempts were unsuccessful. Events in Seversk are beginning to develop rapidly. Between November 17th and 18th, Russian units fought on the approaches to the city itself. By November 19th, there were reports of active combat in the Gogol Street area. This area is just over a kilometer from the city center and railway station. If the Russian offensive continues at its current pace, Seversk could fall within a week or two. In Pokrovsk, Russian forces are finishing off the last pockets of Ukrainian resistance in the northern districts of the city. According to reports from November 18th, a group of Ukrainian servicemen taken prisoner. Dressed in civilian clothes, they surrendered voluntarily. Being cut off from their main forces and supply lines is forcing Ukrainian soldiers to take such measures. The Ukrainian army's week-long attempt to launch a deblocking strike north of Rodniskoye has so far been unsuccessful. In the Pokrovskoye area, in the Dnipropetrovsk region, Russian troops are building on their previous successes. Assault units of the Vostok group of forces have reached the southern outskirts of Tikhoye. Capturing the village will provide fire control over the nearby lowland villages. Kodomitsa is under the greatest threat. This is where the only crossing over the Volcha River is located. The Russian army is expanding its zone of control on the section of the front north of Guliapol. New positions have been established to the west of Slatkoye. It is likely that the Russian command intends to advance to the second line of Ukrainian defenses, which runs from Radosnoye via Dobropole to Varvarovka. Further south, in the vicinity of Novo-Uspenovskoye, Russian forces are consolidating their position. Any Ukrainian troops remaining in the relative rear are being eliminated. The Russian command continues to adhere to its plan of depleting Ukrainian reserves. Increased activity on sections of the front that are less of a priority is forcing the Ukrainian army to deploy its already scarce reserves. If this strategy continues, Ukrainian troops risk losing the remnants of their fire brigades, which would lead to the collapse of the front in several areas.
Russian forces expanded their offensive operations over the past 24 hours, securing tangible gains across multiple fronts, including several that had been relatively quiet until now. On November 17th, Russian troops captured the village of Dorichanskoye in the eastern part of the Kharkiv region. Also on the Kharkiv front, it was reported that Russian troops were advancing southwest of the town of Volshansk on November 18th. The assault units were successful, capturing the village of Zygion. The area is currently being cleared of any remaining Ukrainian servicemen. Fierce fighting is currently taking place on the front line in the Liman area. It is reported that the Ukrainian command has transferred a counter-sabotage company from the 120th Territorial Defense Brigade to this area, which acts as a blocking detachment. Located in the second echelon, they catch deserters in a deployment linked to the increasing number of cases of Ukrainian military personnel abandoning their positions. The northern claw of the encirclement of Seversk is beginning to take shape. Russian forces have driven Ukrainian troops out of Platonovka. There are reports of fighting starting in the southern suburbs of the city. There, Russian assault groups have managed to overcome a Ukrainian fortified area on the outskirts of the city. Fighting is intensifying on the southern outskirts of Konstantinovka on the Slavyansk section of the front. Russian forces are employing tactics similar to those used in Pokrovsk. Small groups are infiltrating the town, raiding Ukrainian strongholds, and then retreating. According to reports from November 18th, the Gray Zone has expanded to include the city's railway station. There is no continuous front line in this area. For this reason, it is still too early to conclude that Russian troops control this section of the front. North of Gulyapo, units of the Russian 127th Motorized Rifle Division are advancing through operational space and encountering minimal resistance. Ukrainian positions to the west of Rybnopol have been captured. Russian units are now less than 6 kilometers away from the regional center via open terrain. There are no significant Ukrainian troop fortifications in this direction. On the Zaporozhye section of the front, Russian troops are concentrating their forces for a further offensive on Orakov. The situation around this regional center remains difficult. The most likely scenario is that Russian units will attack simultaneously from several directions. The front line is beginning to shift in areas that were previously calm. The Russian army is intensifying its offensive in eastern Kharkiv near Konstantinovka and Orakov. This could be an attempt by the Russian command to deplete the Ukrainian army's reserves before the winter campaign begins.
28th day, she'll be bleeding again. And in the pine ways, we'll alleviate the pain. On holy water, sanguine addiction, the silver bullets, our last broadband nation.
On the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.